We can't talk music of Tomb Raider without talking Venice. We're living it large. It's like a techno Lord of the Rings.
It's like a treat, and it's like a nugget, and it's like hope. Hold on, girl. 299. All right, you are joining us through a playthrough of Angel of Darkness, the action-adventure DVD game. We are maybe about halfway through. If you want to play along from this point, the passcode is 49299. And we will have a question of the week related to Tomb Raider in a bit. And perhaps also a spotlight on a creator in the Tomb Raider community. But for now, we have made our way to the infamous Hall of Seasons. And we have a mission. What is the mission, Nick?
Our mission, Bru, if you choose to accept it, is find the Obscura painting. Are you up to the challenge?
Yeah. Ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Press OK to start. OK. She's got a shotgun from nowhere.
Werner's notebook says he was tracking down the Obscura paintings. One must be hidden in here.
I remember this bit being very difficult according to Steve of War's retrospective. I wonder how difficult it will be for us playing the DVD game.
Ultra Vigilis Umbram, Ecce Veritas. Through the spirit of the Keeper, behold the truth.
Oh, there's going to be a quick time.
Are we going to
go for it or play it safe? Go for it. Go for
it. Dodge.
It flashed up for me, but I literally had no time to press it. What button was dodge?
It was left.
Okay. I'll mash left when...
Werner's notebook says he was tracking...
I got another quick tab and died, so don't worry about it. I'll catch up with you.
I got a point.
Yay. Don't take the painting next.
Oh, is that the option?
Yeah, that got me killed.
This is going to be tricky. When you watch this back, you'll see how skippy my DVD is.
No. I'm going to dodge and then I'm going to play safe.
Which way is play safe?
Do you know what she's done for play safe? She's got a shotgun out.
Go on.
Shooting him.
That's very safe.
I'll tell you what, it's done the trick though, so that's what you need to do. Dodge and then play safe.
I'm going to play safe from the beginning because...
It'll get you through.
Right, now I'm on take painting. Shoot or play safe. So, should I go shoot? No, because I'll get a quick time and fail. I'm going to play safe. What? Why is it a semi-automatic shotgun?
Yeah.
She's firing off like 5 rounds a second.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit mental when she got the gun out.
Is that the end of the level for you?
Yeah. How quick was that? Trying to make an episode out of this. We're done. I was going to say I like the music cue there. That's typically an end of level stat screen music cue. That's one of my favourites.
Yeah.
We might be talking about our favourite musical tracks from Tomb Raider. And that might be one of mine, but that level was too quick. I
feel like by playing it safe twice probably shortened it quite significantly.
How many points did you get?
I got 1 point.
I got 2 points.
And that's because I had to play it safe the first time as well, because I didn't want to have to repeat it lots of times.
Correct combo, which gets you all 5 points, where it's never play it safe, I imagine.
Sometimes I reckon it's impossible to get lower than 1 maybe as well, because I literally played it safe twice in that level and that's it. And I got 1 point. Couldn't have done much better or worse.
44 out of 100.
We're living it large. Should we go over to us for a question of the week and a spotlight?
Let's do it. It is time for our question of the week, and this week I'm asking you, what is your favourite track from a Tomb Raider mainline game original soundtrack?
So I suppose you've got to start with main theme. It's a key song for the franchise. The classic Tomb Raider 1. Great song. It's got the monk voices in it. Which is cool. And I really like the end of it, where it's got almost I don't know if it's plucking violin strings, but I love that bit.
I think at the time, most of the stuff was done by just Nathan Bru by himself, so it's probably done keyboards, MIDI keyboards, I'm imagining. But then later on, he actually got the chance to record it with the full orchestra and stuff. So there is those versions online as well, and you can buy them.
And they tour it, don't they, as well, with philharmonic orchestras?
Or maybe a bit of an overstatement. They've done a few dates here and there.
Yeah. So Tomb Raider 2, it's very similar, obviously. But I personally, I think I prefer the tone of it. It's a bit less harsh than the first one.
I think 3 is stronger than number 2 in terms of themes. It just sounds more instantly recognizable as Tomb Raider to me.
Yeah, I think they definitely build on 1 and 2, and there's some drums in there as well, which really I think add to the kind of adventure and action element of the game. I think it adds to the storyline almost. Yeah. Tomb Raider 4 takes the theme, and I think at this point changes composer. Is that right?
Yeah, I think Nathan McCree was getting more and more sort of frustrated that every time you're being asked to make the musical cues shorter and shorter. It wasn't great from a standpoint, and he wasn't able to flex his creative muscles as much, so they got on into Connolly. And
I think what they try and do is develop the theme and make it something too big, and I actually think it falls a bit short personally. It's nowhere near as iconic, and it's good atmosphere, but it just doesn't stand out to me.
I didn't put down any tracks from number 4 in my sort of favourites.
No, it might have been trying to go down that almost open world of music where it's very much composed classic music, or rather than riffs and melodies that you can kind of listen out for and hook. Tomb Raider 5 though, I think again they tried to develop the song, moved away from that classic 1, 2 and 3, which are all very similar, but I think it was more successful. I love the intro with the gongs and the thunder. Makes me think of our Race to the End as well, which now has new meaning of enjoyment.
thing about number 5 is more so than any of the previous ones, there are more sort of like iterations on different songs or sort of themes. So like you'll have like a particular song for like an enemy type or like an area, but then you'll have it come back again, but it'll be slightly different. And there's loads of those. Like, so the runtime of the whole OST is expanded because of that.
Yeah, I agree. If we're talking kind of specifically main theme as well, if you listen to the whole main theme, it almost sounds like 2 or 3 parts of different songs. It doesn't quite fit together as well as the previous ones, but overall sound and atmosphere, incredible. So I guess that's the main themes. Was there any other songs throughout the series that kind of be? Oh, well, I suppose we haven't actually talked about the later series. It's probably where it moves away from classic theme, but they all have their own main theme. So Angel of Darkness, any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, so I thought Angel of Darkness, soundtrack wise, is really, really strong. And I think it actually represented a step up for the series in terms of not necessarily composition, but in terms of production. That's when they first got like a full like orchestra on board. So like it's quite stunning, like a lot of the pieces. And my favorite from that OST would have to be Angel of Darkness, which I suppose is the sort of theme for that one. Stunning.
Yeah. And then we've got well, I guess Anniversary, but we've touched on how it got remade orchestrally from Tomb Raider 1, and I think it's obviously really good because it's recorded with proper music, but very similar to number 1. But I think they do get interesting again with Legend. I think Legend's main theme is really kind of atmospheric. It captures that adventure as well, and when you listen to it, it does really make me think like we're going traveling, we're going on an adventure. They have some voice in it for I think the first time. It sounds almost like tribal, and I think that sets up the game very well. That gets built on a bit in Underworld as well, slightly more back to the traditional sound, where they almost kind of reprise some of their traditional melodies and stuff, but it's orchestral. It's much more big sounding. It's close to actually being one of my favourites. Also because how I feel about the game, so kind of, you know, reminds you of playing it, doesn't it?
Playing through the sort of Legends series of games, I don't think there was anything that stood out and made me sort of want to revisit those soundtracks. It was okay for me, all of those.
Fair enough. I suppose maybe the main theme though you don't hear too often. It's mainly only beginning and credits, so maybe that's potentially missed on part. So then you mentioned not much from that series tickle your fancy, but I'm sure there's some other songs from classic era that stand out.
Yeah, I think for me the most of the nostalgia is for number 1, and as a result of that, perhaps I'm leaning more towards songs that come from Tomb Raider 1, like the '96 version. I really like A Long Way Down. A Friend Since Gone. And Longing for Home. These like give me that sort of goosebump feel and make me like anticipate and put me back in the game, like put me back in that place. back in that adventure, like imagining like the surroundings and stuff. So I think they're really strong from that standpoint. The thing with Tomb Raider 1 is it's mostly silent. So when like a piece of music comes in, it's like a treat and it's like a nugget and it's like hope, because you're like, I've triggered something, I'm clearly on the right path. And typically a piece of music will come in when you were just sort of going through the entrance or going into a new area and you're seeing all this stuff laid out in front of you, and it deals with the wonder and the splendor of perhaps seeing a pyramid or a lost valley or one of these sorts of things.
I think the T-Rex theme deserves a shout out. I can't remember which T-Rex the music comes from, but that's a good song and works well with the game.
It's super effective.
I think we can't talk music of Tomb Raider without talking Venice violins from Tomb Raider 2. Obviously an incredible song. I actually thought it was a classical song that they used, but and I also remembered like choreographing a floor routine with tumble turns and swan dives in her dining room when you press the button on the wall to turn the music on.
I've listened to an interview with Nathan McCree, and he actually like studied like Venetian sort of classical music and put that into that piece.
Amazing. So another great song that I kind of think is definitely worth a re-listen, and it comes from Legend, which I know you said earlier as being perhaps not a soundtrack that anything stood out, but if you revisit the bike ride theme, which is incredible. It's like a techno Lord of the Rings song. And it's great because obviously that section in Kazakhstan is pretty awful. They don't pull off that section of the bike very well. So the music kind of almost is a saviour at that point of the game, but it's an amazing song.
I think that was scuppered by my experience completing the motorbike bit, just dying over and over and over again. Maybe even getting like the same part of the track over and over again, like stopping enjoying it because of that, and having Zip say, "Hold on, girl," or something like completely inane.
Yeah, I think the music would be drowned out slightly. I mean, it's where you almost want to turn down sound effects and voices and just do the section in silence with music.
That would be
and I think it's also, we haven't talked at all about Rise or Shadow, and I think there's a reason for that. It's very much orchestral or theming or background music, and I don't think for me there's that many standout songs. Plus it's hard to find a standout song when there's 80 tracks on an OST or more. But there is one that's worth a shout out. Karen O from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs did I Will Rise, which is, I guess, the theme tune from Rise. It's not an amazing song, but it's probably, correct me if I'm wrong, but the only song with full vocals sung as a song. So worth shouting out. Any other shout outs, or shall we move on to winners?
I'm ready to say my favourite if you are.
I'm ready.
So for me, my favourite Tomb Raider track is the theme from number 1. It's what I think of when I think of Tomb Raider. Like that intro, it just gets me in the mood and immediately puts me there. So that just holds a special place in my heart. So that's the winner for me.
And for me, it's the same, but with Tomb Raider 2. same reasons as well. Nostalgia. First game I played, spent a lot of time in it, being young as well, and finding it difficult. So, hearing that theme tune so much, and I also, I didn't mention when we were talking through them earlier, but I love at the end, instead of that kind of plucking violin that I mentioned from number one, it's got like a flute bit, which is replacing that kind of outro. Replacing that kind of outro melody, and I love that bit as well. But yeah, definitely for both of us, nostalgia wins it, and it's just our respective experiences, isn't it?
This week, our spotlight is music of Tomb Raider. Now, this is a website which has all of the different musics from all the different Tomb Raider games. It's like a big sort of catalogue. And my favourite bit about this page, or this website, is the page with the community discography. Now, this is where people have, before releasing video game soundtracks became a thing, found all of the audio files and shared them and made sort of SoundCloud or YouTube playlists, and you can listen to them there. This was something that I got into when I was first playing through the classic games, and I would listen to the soundtracks to these games and to some of the later ones as well, whilst I was in the throes of completing these games. So it just further immersed me in the world, and I'd encourage anybody, if you're going through the games, to listen to the soundtrack while you're at work. Why not?
Back in the day as well, when the PlayStation 1, they were on CDs. So some games, I don't think all of them, but if you put them in a CD player, it would play the music from the CD. And I think the music is special because not every game series, but Final Fantasy, Tomb Raider, the kind of big ones, they've got the concert orchestras who now tour the music of the games, which would be amazing to watch, I imagine.
Well, it's iconic and spine-tingling, isn't it? The music of Tomb Raider. So shout out to all the brilliant composers, Nathan McCree and Vance Troll, somebody? Peter Connolly, all these people who have created music for Tomb Raider. Great job.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the show, leave a like. If you're a fan, then please consider subscribing or maybe sharing. If you want to support us, you can buy some merch down in the link below. And of course, tell me the answer to our question of the week. What is your favourite piece of music from the Tomb Raider series? And we'll see you next time.